pretty good. So far, so good. I kind of like the virtual one because you got some really cool pictures behind it. We're going to intersperse a little virtual and a little in-person stuff to hopefully present you a really beautiful Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur celebration. We start out with the Hine Matov. It means how beautiful it is for people to be together as one. So we're going to do Hine Matov, and then to show the universality that we seek on this day, we'll sing Hine Matov as you might never have heard it before unless you're a regular at Va-Dor. How many people have heard it sung in Spanish or French or Arabic? I see our regular members here. See what you're all missing if you don't come every week. You're missing hearing Hine Matov in Arabic, but you will hear it tonight. So Hine Matov. Beautiful language in the world. That was said by someone who didn't speak Hebrew. I think it's probably the second most beautiful language in the world. But right up there at top is the beautiful language of Spanish. And because this is Spanish Heritage Month, I would be remiss if I didn't offer some words of welcome in Spanish, because this is being broadcast all over the world, all over Central and South America, and another place where they speak even more Spanish than that is going to Miami as well. Bienvenidos a todo el mundo a nuestro servicio del nuevo año. Es un placer de estar aquí con ustedes y yo quisiera para todo el mundo, los latinos, los americanos y todo el mundo, un año próspero, un año de felicidad y un año de buena salud. We now have responsive reading. Where you see the part that is in bold, please join in and read boldly. Here I am, one soul
within this prayer community. Like those around me, I bring my own concerns and yearnings to this place, hoping they will find expression in the time-hallowed words of my people and in the tradition cherished by generations before me.
May Israel's strife and misfortunes be turned into joy, renewed life and peace. Love, peace, and truth may prevail among us, and may there be no impediment to our prayers.
May I bring the best of my energies to these holy days, approaching this spiritual work with open heart and mind, sincerity and sustained focus on the deep question of the season. Who am I? How shall I live? Where have I fallen short or failed?
This night, we take up the challenge of the days of awe, a searching examination of my life, a moral inventory of my deeds, words, and thoughts. May the door of this sanctuary be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May they welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this sanctuary be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this sanctuary be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Now it's my pleasure to call up Nancy Beyer to lead us in the lighting of the Yom Tov candles. You might wonder, how is it that certain people are selected for this task? Do they donate a lot of money, write a big check? No. For the candles, we just try to find someone who is the one at Va-Dor who brightens up the room and is a source of light for all of us. And the choice was rather simple.
Creation's brightest light, the mystics say, was hidden at the dawn of time. But on this sacred night, this night of hope and joy, a glimmer of that light is here. It lives in memories of goodness and in our own desire to do right, to try again, to build anew, to ask forgiveness, and to make peace. We enter this new year and look upon the beauty of these lights. So many days of awe, so may the days of awe renew the light within us. In the spirit of our ancient traditions that have united Israel's children in all countries throughout the generations, do we now kindle the Yom Tov lights. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'hadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Amen.
Thank you very much.
May we be blessed with Yom Tov joy. May we be blessed with Yom Tov light. May we be blessed with Yom Tov peace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Next we have the Kiddush, led for us by Donna and Bill Field. I call them up now to lead us in the Kiddush. You might wonder, how were they selected in order to lead us in the Kiddush? What rigorous process did they have to go through in order to qualify? Very simple. We just figured who is the one who sweetens up the lives of us at Va-Dor, and the choice was quite easy to make. This is the Kiddush.
That's upside down.
Isn't it? I have to have these two beside me. Okay, the verses and blessings that we recite in the Kiddush, the blessing over the wine, proclaim the holiness of this day, and trace back to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'chatat kosho v'ahava uvratzon hikalanu v'kerov l'maaseh b'reishit ki kiyom tefillah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher yitziat mitzrayim ki banu b'chata yotanu kidashta mikorim v'yom tov kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon v'chaltanu baruch atah Adonai nekadesh u'vayom hazikaron.
Lashana Tova, everyone. I hope you enjoy our services, and I hope you, if you're not a member, you'd like to become a member of our temple and enjoy services with us and with Rabbi Silver. And I pray for everyone for peace, love, and joy for the year.
Thank you. Thank you. Now you know the secret of a happy marriage. Bill lets Donna do all the talking. Works out very well. Did you? If anybody wants to come up here and do an honor and share some thoughts with the congregation, everybody's welcome. And it's totally, as you can see, unscripted. And if I say something up here that you think is not accurate, or you have a different opinion, you're welcome to also raise your hand and try to help correct the record. Now we're going to continue with a beautiful blessing. It's an all-purpose blessing called the Shehecheyanu. If you look inside the Shehecheyanu, it's the first word on the second line. You'll see the word Chai, which, as you know, means life. We give thanks for the source of life that sustains, creates, and expands upon life as we know it and brought us into being. So we continue with the Shehecheyanu. I should say before Cantor Garrett sings the Shehecheyanu, you're here at an unusual synagogue. I don't know if that was your choice or you just stumbled upon us, but we practice something called cosmic Judaism. It's also known as InspiRational Judaism, and we merge Judaism and science. So many of the prayers we have. In any event, we continue with the Shehecheyanu, interpreted in a modern, rational, scientific way, as you can see in the English.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'hiyanu l'zeman hazeh.
We're going to continue now with the singing of Va-Dor from generation to generation. To all generations, we will make known the greatness of love, truth, and justice. May these ideals reign supreme for all eternity.
Va-Dor, 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 Nogi Golecha. Va-Dor, 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 Nogi Golecha. Ulenetzim Yitzavim, Kirusha, Menakdish, Kirusha, Nakdish, Veshikama Eloheinu, Mekiru Yolavush, Yolam, Lam Vaed, Va-Dor, 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 Nogi Golecha. Va-Dor, Va-Dor, Nogi Golecha. Ki Melech HaGadol, HaKadosh, Ata, HaKadosh, Ata.
Va-Dor also is, of course, the name of our congregation. Named that because we believe in educating our children, and also was founded by my father, Rabbi Sam Silver. And also I was his assistant and co-officiated with him. I had the thrill of co-officiating with him for about 10 years. And now I have the great pleasure of carrying on his wonderful tradition of rational, joyous, ecumenical, social action-based Judaism. We continue now with a reading from the book of Leviticus. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, there will be a sacred assembly, a cessation from work, a day of commemoration, proclaimed by the sounding of the shofar. If you notice, this reading is about all you get as far as the Torah has to say about Rosh Hashanah. It doesn't say Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. In fact, it says it's in the 7th month. How could that be? Is the Torah mistaken? Or did we err someplace in not doing what the Torah says? My friends, this is just another indication of the fact that Judaism has evolved, it's grown, it's expanded, it's continuing to do that, and it continues to do that here at Va-Dor, by constantly updating Judaism, making it more relevant, but also clinging to our most fundamental, basic ideals. Avinu Malkeinu. Tonight we are roused by the shofar's blast. We awaken to the world's rebirth and rejoice in the earth's bounty. At this moment, when we announce the new year, we pray to turn outward and renew our relationship to all creation. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. We're now going to continue with some of the traditional prayers. We're going to go to song first. Or are you just warming up? Okay. We're going to continue with the... My mom used to do that. My mom was the Juilliard graduate pianist for Va-Dor. I had the great pleasure of working with her for a very long time. And anytime I started talking too long, she would always start playing the piano. And then I knew, okay, it's time for me to stop. It's time for another song. That was my cue. So I think it's time for us to go right into the Baruch Hu, in which we stand and sing the praises of the world, the universe, of our lives. Please, if it's comfortable for you, rise. If not, stay seated. That's perfectly okay, too, for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu, Adonai, HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Vaed.
And you'll see a modern translation of the Baruch Hu. Let us exalt and celebrate the wonder, beauty, and majesty of the creative power that gave rise to everything including us. Please be seated. The next prayer is from our tradition and gives praise and thanks that everything follows accustomed paths, that the sun rises at the right time and the earth gets warmed by the sun. Not too hot, not too cold. We're in the Goldilocks zone, so that seasons take place. They're all modern miracles and ancient miracles as well. Now that we understand through science exactly what's involved, we have even more reason to rejoice and to pause and to wonder and to stand in rapture at the amazing functioning and wonders of the universe that we recollect in this ancient prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv harabim, b'chachma poteach sha'arim, u'bidvana mishane itim u'machaliv et hazmanim, u'misader. You recognize that word from Seder. It means order. That power that brings order. U'misader et ha'kochabim, b'mishmoroteihem, barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, separating out the night from the darkness. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. ברוך אתה אדוני, who brings on evening. And now we have Borei Yom V'Layla.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv harabim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
there was once a doctor and an engineer, and then there was also the politician. And they were arguing about which profession was the first one to be mentioned in the Bible. The doctor said, oh, it was a surgeon. It said God took a rib out of Adam and created Eve. A doctor is the first one that was mentioned. And the engineer said, no, before that, it said that God brought about order out of chaos. That was the first profession. And the politician said, where do you think you got the chaos? So now we read this prayer. And what we know is that the early solar system was a place of violent cosmic roulette, which orbs and planetoids were being shattered and destroyed all over. We easily could have been destroyed, but we weren't. And so we give thanks that there was silence, there was chaos. And then order began to emerge out of chaos. Earth defied the odds and miraculously survived and emerged from the cosmic roulette of colliding comets, debris, and planetoids of our early solar system. Let us use our hearts and our minds to increase the order and peace in our chaotic world. Together.
The law makes evening fall. The law brings on the dawn.
The moon formed by a fortuitous collision, sending debris hurtling into space that fell into orbit around the Earth. This was essential in stabilizing Earth's wobble on its axis that gave stability to make life possible. The moon follows accustomed paths. Constellations, their patterned ways. Together?
Sovereign are the laws that order the stars in their courses in the endless skies. Let us rejoice.
We now give thanks and praise that everything we see around us is all one. The Shema. Please rise.
Shema.
Israel, the cosmos emanated from a singularity, bursting forth in creative splendor eons ago. May our lives reflect this unity, seeking to restore oneness to our people, empowering us to restore it to the world. Please be seated. If you're wondering who is this person right here standing beside me, this is someone that my father used to describe. He said the definition of a friend is someone who knows all about you and likes you anyway. Loring Frank has been my friend and the friend of my family for years. In fact, our fathers were both rabbis, about the only ones performing interfaith weddings decades ago, before rabbis realized how wrong it was to send away a couple who wanted a Jewish wedding and say no. They had the courage to say yes to a Jewish home. Rabbi Frank is here with us today. For the first time in the history of Congregation Va-Dor, the All-People Synagogue and Congregation Va-Dor are uniting as one. And this is a thrilling day for me. I hope for you, and it's just the beginning of some wonderful collaboration in the future. So it is my great pleasure to welcome and to introduce to you Loring Frank. And by the way, his son is also involved in the act. Emmett, he is responsible for zooming this far and wide and live streaming it, and we are extremely grateful to him as well. He takes after his father very much, especially in his wardrobe. So now I turn this over to Rabbi Loring Frank.
Rabbi Barry Silver, what a wonderful, great rabbi, spiritual leader, and an esquire on top of it. Rabbi Barry Silver.
Just the way we rehearsed it, thank you.
He told me what to say. It would be appropriate time for me to come forward at this moment, Rabbi Silver. By the way, your father told me one day that all of his weddings were mixed marriages. I said, what do you mean? He says, man and woman. Nowadays, it might be a little different, but it was a perfect time to come to the Dima for just a moment. This beautiful prayer we just recited together, the Shema. I love to translate the Shema. When we recite this, is it still up on the screen? Yes. Let's translate the Shema. I know that the beautiful words that Rabbi Silver has created here are very inspirational, but literally the words are what? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And what does that mean? Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. But there's one word not translated. When we translate it, for all of our lives we've been saying, hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. But there's one word not translated, which is the key to that magnificent affirmation. What is that one word not translated? Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. What's the word? What is it? I'm going to ask you. Israel. Israel was never translated, was it? What is Israel? I know we know it to be the country Israel, but what does Israel mean? Does anyone know what Israel means? The country Israel? Israel means peace and love. I pray Israel stands for that. But literally, what does Israel mean? Thank you. You've been to our services, so you know already, right? What does Israel mean? What's that? Children of Israel. Okay, that's true, but what does Israel mean? Literally, Israel, one who strives, sometimes even struggles, to comprehend God's ways, comprehend life. That's what it means. So here, that's everybody, not Jews, Christians, but humanity, all of us who are trying to figure out, trying to understand, trying to comprehend through all the trials and tribulations of life, all the simchas, all the joys, all the happiness, that through it all, we're all together as one. One who strives to comprehend life. We all strive to comprehend life and find a meaning in life. But when we have two things, betachon and emun, faith and trust. When we have faith and trust in life and God, we shall know that everything is accompaniment, in perfect order, just the way God is intended to be. And I believe with a wholehearted faith that everything is in perfect order, just the way it is today, at this exact moment. Thank you so much for making it in perfect order, Rabbi Barry Silver, for all of us. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Frank. We'll be hearing more from Rabbi Frank, and I look forward to his additions. At Va-Dor, where we practice cosmic Judaism, the struggle of the Jewish people isn't just to try to figure out God's ways, but is even to challenge whether God even exists, and if so, in what form. And so I say to you, if you don't believe in God, and you've weighed the evidence, and it doesn't measure up, you are every bit as Jewish, or even more so than others, because you're struggling with the concept, and whichever way you come out, that's fine, as long as you're thinking. If you're not sure, and you're weighing the evidence, that's good. And whichever way you come out. And so we believe here that if you're an atheist or an agnostic, but you believe in Jewish values, believe in Jewish ideals, you are every bit as Jewish as everyone else, and perhaps more so. And you are certainly welcome here. We continue now with the Ahavta, which indicates the Ahavta you shall love. It sounds a little weird, like how can you be commanded to love? Sometimes some of the insects, like a mosquito, it doesn't seem very lovable, but it's part of the food chain, and it's part of the chain of life. And so we're commanded to try to love even the mosquitoes, which is a challenge. V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levacha u'v'kol nafshecha u'v'kol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam ba'am v'shivtecha v'vetecha U'lechtecha b'derech, u'shokbecha, u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha, u'ktabtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha, leman tizkeru, v'yasitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzei Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Standing on the parted shores of time, where history and legend meet, we still believe the lessons of Sinai, as described in our folklore and legends, that Pharaoh and his armies will always face defeat.
That wherever we go, we seek to escape out of Egypt to a better place, a promised land.
That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Milchamocha is a rhetorical question. Who can be like God? If we describe God and define God as the creative power within all, that unites all and transcends all, then we can all be like God, especially when we expand upon the creative power within us to bring about a better world and a world of love. The Milchamocha.
Milchamocha b'lim Adonai V'kamocha nedar v'kodesh, noradini lo osef malakudecha ra'uvanecha, okei ayam lifnei Moshe leli ganu v'yameru Adonai.
see a hurricane coming into our neighborhood, this next reading is even more appropriate. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. We now continue with the Hashkivenu, a very ancient prayer and blessing and thank you, which I have amended with some new words that shed a modern understanding on the miracles that our ancestors celebrated. Going to sleep at night in peace and waking up to renewed life. It's called the Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu literally is the imperative in the first person plural. Anybody, I think maybe my son knows what that means because he's studying English grammar, but the rest of us probably forgot about it. It means let us or cause us to lie down at night. Hashkivenu, cause us to lie down. B'shalom, in peace. Lahamidenu malkenu, and to wake up. L'chayim, to life. The structure of peace, the sukkah of peace. You shelter us beneath all storm, O Adonai, through miracles that now are known. You protect earth and sky to keep us safe throughout the night. Earth's heavenly atmosphere blocks cosmic rays, but lets in light so life can thrive down here. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu B'shalom, B'shalom, Amidenu Malkenu L'chaim. Pros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Upros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Your domain, life you maintain, and science does explain the miracle of nature's laws, create life and sustain. Amen. Lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. May night spread over us the sukkah, sukkah shlomecha, the shelter of your peace, of quiet and calm, the blessing of rest. guided by emet, truth, and tzedek, righteousness. Praise be the source of joy and hope within us, for the night and its rest and the dream of the dawn of peace and justice, which we will achieve when Jews accept our sacred mission as a light to the nations. Adonai Sfatai. My friends, you are hearing the beautiful singing of Cantor Carol Garrett, which represents a reform, a change. There was a time when it was believed that women shouldn't be singing on the bima, our sacred music. And now we realize what a shame it would be, what a great lack, what a loss it would be if we didn't include women singing our prayers. And the same is true with this next one, Tefillah Avot Imahot. This is a change, my friends, an adaptation. It used to be called Tefillah Avot. We gave praise to our fathers. And then someone said, wait a minute, what about the mothers? And everybody said, no, you can't do that, you can't change it. It's been the Tefillah Avot for thousands of years. Are you crazy? I guess we are. Because we've changed. That's what Rosh Hashanah is all about. How many of us all doing things the same way all the time? Somebody says, why don't you try this? What, are you crazy? I can't do that. I've never done that before. That's a great reason to try it. That's why we have the Tefillah Avot V'Yimahot. And so, I invite you to join with us in giving praise. Fathers and mothers, think about your parents or grandparents, our ancestors, who sacrificed so much for us. And if you like, please rise for this part of our celebration. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, V'Hagibor, V'Hanova, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכתבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. Please be seated. We continue now with the Gevurot, which gives praise to the tremendous, awesome powers at work every day that allow our lives to continue. You will see the word life in here, Chayim. You'll see Chesed, saying that this life force is righteous and just, and it's Emunatenu. It evokes our joy and our thanks and our faithfulness to try to live up to the highest standards that have been set for us in order to show appreciation for life. It was, I think it was Muhammad Ali who said, public service is the rent that we pay for life on earth. Let us give thanks and pay back as we read the Gevurot. Atah gibor la'olam Adonai, בחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים, ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכר ייצובה לחיים ברחמים, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. We continue now with the reading of the Zachrenu. Zachrenu l'chayim melech hafetz b'chayim u'chatvenu b'sefer chayim l'mancha Elohim chayim. Our sovereign mind gives us freedom and independent thought so that we may take control over our lives. Zachrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova, amen. U'fakdenu bo livracha, amen. V'hoshienu bo l'chayim, amen. We read together, this day let us be remembered for well-being, amen. This day let us approach the sacred and be a blessing, amen. This day let us fully embrace life and truly live. The Ritzeh. We continue now reading responsibly. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth.
May all who struggle find rest on this day.
May all who suffer find solace.
May all who hurt find healing on this day.
May all who despair find purpose.
May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day.
And may this day fulfill its promise. We now continue with another one of our Va-Dor original creations. You probably might recognize the original version of the song before I adulterated it. It's now become enlisted as a Rosh Hashanah song. Sounds of Rosh Hashanah silence.
Rosh Hashanah, my old friend, it's time to greet you once again, because a vision of an awesome power has led us here at this sacred hour, and our eyes are filled with the glow of sacred light that lifts the night and hallows the joy of Rosh Hashanah.
And the candles are aglow with light from long ago. Neath the hallowed leaves of green, we turn our souls away from vice and greed toward the vision of a time when wars will cease, a world of peace that echoes on this Rosh Hashanah.
And in the sacred scroll I saw a world of love and moral law, a future glorious and glistening, people finally really listening, people writing songs that all our voices share, and no one dare disturb the sounds of silence.
And the people bowed and prayed as the Torah was displayed. When we read about our proud tradition, our decreal on our sacred ambition, and the Torah says the words of the prophet must be written upon our hearts. Then we start.
Everyone sing together.
To feel the peace of Rosh Hashanah.
By the way, I should have mentioned, if you see the words on the big screen, that's an invitation to join in the singing. We want this to be participatory, so feel free to join with us. Now, we've read some beautiful words from our ancient lore and some from more modern times, but now comes the important part. This is the part where each of us has to internalize and make real what we've heard in order to make this day accomplish all that it was meant to do. And so we're going to spend a few moments in silent meditation and reflection. There's nothing written in this Siddur about this part. It's written in your heart, as the song implies. Each of us now can take a few moments to give thanks for the past year, to contemplate how we can make the next year even more fulfilling, and to see if we're capable of living up to the highest expectations that our parents had for us to try to make their dreams come true. We spend a moment in silent meditation and reflection. word shalom carries a wealth of positive meanings, referring not only to the absence of war. Shalom also means safety, wholeness, completion, fulfillment, prosperity, and peace of mind and heart. In English, peace is often understood to be the absence of something, a lack of conflict. In Hebrew, shalom is understood to be the presence of something, a sense of well-being and fulfillment. And those of us, we have any Hebrew speakers? Any Israelis here? A little bit. Yeah, I always get a little nervous when somebody's from Israel because usually if I mess up the Hebrew, nobody knows the difference. I have someone from Israel, they know. I have to be on my toes. Peace in Hebrew, shalom, is related to the word lishalem, which does mean to complete, to fulfill. It's not the absence, it's a fulfilling life. Of all the joys that we aspire to, all the ideals, and it also is related to the word lishalem, which means to pay. We also have to pay a price sometimes for peace. And when we think of it that way, then we give thanks for all of those people in this country and throughout the world who have sacrificed themselves so that we could live in peace. We continue now with the Avinu Malkeinu. Please stand. I'll read the Hebrew and you can join me in the English.
Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let us hear the voice of reason. Avinu Malkeinu, we sin when we justify wrong rather than acting justly. Avinu Malkeinu, may we be empathetic towards others and not pathetic by thinking only of ourselves. Avinu Malkeinu, may we join together in working for the day when pandemics, war, famine, and climate disasters shall finally end. Avinu Malkeinu, let us hearken to rational thought and reason to become sovereign over our lives. Avinu Malkeinu, may we write a new exciting chapter in our unique book of life. Avinu Malkeinu, may we be blessed with a good year. Avinu Malkeinu, may we be inspired by the faith, courage, and ideals of our ancestors to pursue their dream of fashioning a world of kindness, love, and peace. May their dream become ours. Please be seated. I'm sorry for what I've done wrong. I'll try to be more caring, more loving and sharing. Forgive me for what I've done wrong. My friends, this is a very, very exciting Rosh Hashanah for me and for many people. We've been afraid to mix it up because of the pandemic for years now. Finally now, we are together. That is because Our love and affection for our fellow Jews in our community cannot be masked. Our joy and our tradition can never be quarantined. And we are now all super spreaders of love and peace as Jewish people, despite what might be going on around us. And I thank you so much for being here. It's very exciting to be here with you and to be here with Rabbi Loring Frank, with son Emmett, with Cantor Garrett, and with all of you celebrating together through the technology of Zoom, which makes it possible for our heritage to resume even in difficult times, and it makes it possible for us to exhume the wisdom of our sages. And we're doing something else for the first time that's even more remarkable, perhaps. Every year for 25 years, if you wanted to come join us at Va-Dor, you'd have to show up in person. Last couple of years, we started doing some Zoom. You'd have to have a ticket. This is the first time at Va-Dor that we took a gamble, a chance. We put our faith in everyone here, our faith in the Jewish community, our faith that if we welcome people to our doors and offer them to come and join us as part of our family, everything will turn out just fine. And in an age where synagogues are closing their doors left and right, we are not afraid at all. We have every bit of faith and confidence that this is the way for us to grow and expand and to reach out to others. But there was once, in a synagogue in the old days, where you had to have a ticket. A man came in and said, "I'm not here for the service. I just need to give a message to somebody who's in the service. Can I just enter? Just let me in. I just want to say something to him, and then I'm going to leave." The man at the gate says, "Yes, you can enter. But don't let me catch you praying." My friends, everyone is welcome to enter, and you're allowed to pray. We encourage it. At Va-Dor, prayer is a little bit different. We do not ask a supernatural being to solve our problems. We give thanks that a godly creative power is within us that allows us to work together in order to solve problems. My friends, if all we have to try to get through this period is a prayer, then we haven't got a prayer. No. Our goal here as prayer is to galvanize in our own mind what it is that we want for ourselves, and as a community what we want for the Jewish community in the world, and then try to make it happen. Our people is quite unique. I'm not saying that just because I'm Jewish. I might be a little biased, but let me share with you some things that other people have said who are not Jewish. For instance, John Adams. "I will insist the Hebrews have contributed more to civilized men than any other nation. If I was an atheist and believed in blind eternal fate, I should still believe that fate had ordained the Jews to be the most essential instrument for civilizing the nations. They are the most glorious nation that ever inhabited this earth. The Romans and their empire were but a bubble in comparison to the Jews." Well, you could say, well, he's a politician. He's trying to be nice to the Jews. But what about Leo Tolstoy? He had no axe to grind. He said, "What is the Jew? What kind of unique creature is this, whom all the rulers of all the nations of the world have disgraced and crushed and expelled and destroyed, persecuted, burned and drowned, and who despite their anger and their fury continues to live and to flourish? What is this Jew whom they have never succeeded in enticing with all the enticements of the world? His oppressors and persecutors only suggested that he deny and disown his religion and cast aside the faith of his ancestors. The Jew is the symbol of eternity. He is the one who for so long has guarded the prophetic message and transmitted it to all mankind. A people such as this can never disappear. The Jew is eternal. He's the embodiment of eternity. And then, of course, there was the great literary genius and social critic who usually had bad things to say about many people, Mark Twain. Mark Twain said if statistics are right, the Jews constitute but 1% of the human race. It suggests a nebulous, dim puff of stardust lost in the blaze of the Milky Way. Properly, the Jew ought hardly to be heard of, but he is heard of, has always been heard of. He is as prominent on the planet as any other people. His commercial importance is extravagantly out of proportion to the smallness of his bulk. His contributions to the world's list of great names in literature, science, art, music, medicine, finance, and abstruse learning are way ahead, way out of proportion to the weakness of his numbers. He has made a marvelous fight in this world in all the ages, and has done it with his hands tied behind him. He could be vain of himself and be excused for it. The Egyptian, Babylonian, and Persian rose, filled the planet with sound and splendor, then faded away into dream stuff. The Greek and the Romans followed and made a vast noise. And they are gone. Other people have sprung up and held their torch high for a time, but have burned out, and they sit in twilight now, or have vanished. The Jew saw them all, beat them all, and is now what he's always been, exhibiting no decadence, no infirmities of age, no weakening of his parts, no slowing of his energies, no dulling of his alert and aggressive mind. All things are mortal but the Jew. All other forces pass, but he remains. What is the secret of his immortality? My friends, tonight, tomorrow morning, Yom Kippur Eve, Yom Kippur morning, I will share some suggested hypotheses for your consideration to answer that rhetorical question. What is the secret of our immortality? But I have a more important question. Are the glowing tributes, the wonderful accolades that have been showered upon the Jewish people by these scholars and others, are we living up to them today? Are we fulfilling our role as a light to the nations, as the conscience of humanity? Or are we content to say, oh yeah, I'm Jewish, I'm a gastronomic Jew. I eat Jewish food. I'm a cardiac Jew. I'm Jewish in my heart. Or are we content to say, I'm an observant Jew. I practice Judaism every day. I go to the synagogue and say my prayers. Does that help the world? We don't need more observant Jews. We need more active Jews. We need Jews who are going to use the synagogue experience to recharge our batteries so we can go out and make this world a better place. That's the question we have to ask this Rosh Hashanah. As we look around and we see the world in dire straits, are we living up to our destiny? But like I say, I'm going to share with you some thoughts about how is it that we've outlasted all of our enemies? To answer that, I feel kind of like a mosquito in a nudist colony. I just don't know where to begin. There's just so much that I could say. And you don't know this, but I'm very limited. I get instructions from all types of people. Don't go too long. You got 6 minutes. If you haven't struck oil in 6 minutes, stop boring. It's going to be hard to do this, even in 4 different services. But I'll give it a shot. All right? What do we call this holiday? What is this called? Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah. Everybody translates it New Year. And nobody can fault you. That's New Year. But what does it mean to the Jewish person? In every single word, there's embedded a sermon. Rosh Hashanah. Rosh means the head. Shana is year, but it also is related to the word change. Every single year, the Jew is told, with your head, you can change for the better. Every every time we say Lashana Tova, Rosh Hashanah, every time we say that word, we're reminding ourselves with the head, we can change. How many of us take advantage of this incredible mind that we have? This ability to reflect and to consider and to improve. What an amazing life we could have if instead of doing the same thing every single year, we changed. We could overcome our habits. Habits are hard to get rid of. You get rid of the H, you still have a bit. You get rid of the A, you still have a bit. You get rid of the B, you still have it. But if you get rid of the T, you're left with I. And now you've come to the place where we can get rid of our bad habits. What is the source, the reason explaining Jewish survival? I offer to you the mind, the intellect that we celebrate, and our ability to change and to adapt. You could call it the survival of the Yiddish. We believe that we can change and we can improve. And this year, Rosh Hashanah, is different than the secular year. In the secular New Year, they have a celebration. In the Jewish New Year, we have cerebration. We use the cerebellum to review, to see where we've gone astray, to check in, station identification with our people and see how we're doing. In the secular New Year, they have revelry. We have reverie, reverence, and reveille. We wake up. We try to be aroused from our slumber. In the secular New Year, they have a noisemaker. What's the purpose of it? It just makes a lot of noise. What do we have? We have the shofar. The shofar. The call to conscience. The shofar, which tells us to do battle against those impulses within us that drag us down and to try to elevate ourselves. As Rabbi Frank was mentioning, the struggle with the godliness within us to see if we can live up to the expectations, our highest potential, or will we be dragged down? The shofar, which doesn't work unless it's hollowed out, meaning that the mind that we have must be cleansed of all of our bad habits, all of our old thinking, all of our irrational thoughts. It must be purified and cleansed so that the pureness of our soul can be transmitted and make a beautiful sound to others. That's what the shofar is all about, and so much more. But my friends, the shofar is also shaped like a question mark. The shofar is asking a question. It was Thomas Friedman who said, a Nobel Prize winner was asked how he became a scientist. He said, every day after school, his mother would ask him, not what he learned, but whether he asked a good question. That, he said, was how he became a scientist. And that, my friends, is how we become a good person and a good Jew, to ask questions. Yes, we say, Happy New Year. Well, new has different meanings. In French, new means we. In Hebrew, Avinu Malkeinu means us. It means that we gather together as one. Jewish solidarity, that's a reason why we survive. Because we come together as one. Avinu Malkeinu, we say. But new has another meaning. You know the meaning in Yiddish? No? No? Well? No? When are you going to change? No? When are you going to be the type of husband that you could be? No? When will you actually set a good example as a parent? And recognize that the best parents aren't the ones who tell their kids what to do? They're the ones who showed them by example. No? When are you going to show appreciation for this incredible heritage that we have, that the world desperately needs, and actually get involved with others and help make this world a better place? Because all that's necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. We Jews are supposed to be the good people. My friends, if we do nothing, evil will triumph. And my friends, sadly, evil is triumphing. We Jews have survived because we focus on the mind and education. In many traditions, they have a rite of passage. Child turns 13, what does he do? Does an act of strength, maybe an act of violence, maybe he has to fight somebody, or, heaven forbid, maybe he would have to kill an innocent animal. What does a Jewish person do to show a rite of passage? They learn. They study. Why? Because our goal as Jews, and what has caused us to survive, is that we connect with the past to better understand the future so that we can help shape a better tomorrow. We have a bar mitzvah. That is our rite of passage. But sadly, many of our fellows don't practice intelligent Judaism. They practice irrational Judaism. You tend to see them on the more traditional conservative side, rejecting science, rejecting reason. My friends, religion can either lead to mindfulness or mindlessness. It was Einstein who said science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. We've seen what happens with mindless religion. We Jews have seen it all too often in pogroms, crusades, Holocaust, inquisitions. But what have we done to try to be a light to the nations? What have we done to try to correct those errors? What have we done after the Holocaust to try to figure out what is the real cause of anti-Semitism and looked into Christian scripture and tried to prevent this from happening again? Not a whole lot. And so on this Rosh Hashanah, we remember that to be Jewish is to use your mind and to be able to change. I'm going to end with this. The greatest Jewish leader, by any standards, was Moses. Moses lived in a palace. He had everything he wanted. He lived in a place that he had every human need that you could possibly have. But he was not happy. No, he wasn't happy when other people suffered. He sided with the slaves and not with the oppressors. That's what it means to be Jewish. To have a purpose in life. That's why we survived, to have a purpose. And to take up the side of the oppressed. Yes, and he went out and he would have been forgotten if he stayed in that palace. But he became legendary. Many people think that he was not scientific. They think he was archaic, but I'm here to tell you otherwise. He was the first one to download data from the cloud onto a tablet. He used 2 tablets because he was binary. Computers are binary. Moses was someone who had many, many apps. He applied himself to good causes. He lived life with aplomb. He received the approval of his people. He had an aptitude for doing what was right. But his greatest act of all was the act of appreciation. My friends, we've got a prayer for everything. For the world, for the trees, for the lakes, for the food that we eat. Our prayer for everything. Now, modern Jews, we deviate a little bit. We don't say a prayer that we weren't born a woman, and we reject that. But we follow the principle of giving thanks. And so we give thanks on this Rosh Hashanah that we have a role model like Moses who gives us a sense of purpose. Those people who have purpose in their lives, those people who have a reason to get up in the morning, those are the people who are going to be strong and vibrant. And I would postulate that perhaps that's the reason why we're still here also. Because our job is to make the world a better place, a place of peace and love and justice. I don't know if you looked around, but if you have, you probably figured out we're not done yet. We still got some work to do. And so, my friends, we're not going anywhere. And I hope that in 5783, and don't write 5782 on your checks. Remember, 5783. I hope in this new year, we will really use our minds to figure out how we can do better. We will use our ability to change and to not be stuck in a rut. And we'll take advantage of the purpose that our ancestors have given to us. And we welcome you to do that as part of our family, working together to make this world a better place, remembering the words of Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of dedicated people can make the world a better place and can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. We Jews are that small group of dedicated people. Thank you very much for joining us on this Rosh Hashanah, and I want to wish everyone here L'Shana Tova. Rabbi Frank would like to share a few words as well.
I just want to commend Rabbi Barry Silver. You are a man of faith. I have sinned this past year. I have lacked faith. I'm serious. I've lacked faith, complete faith in God, in life. Because I didn't have enough faith to conduct a high holy day services in fear that our brethren would not show up to services because of COVID, because of security, and so on. You're a man of faith to encourage, to have these services, and that to share it that we're here tonight because of my lack of faith and your full faith in God and in life. Thank you, Rabbi Silver. I wanted to say one thought, just for a moment. You know, years ago, we decided not to charge or sell tickets to high holidays. Kind of like what, God willing, it might be for the future. I don't think churches charge for tickets. Do they go to church? They just simply, or Chabad doesn't either, but they're packed. So we decided not to sell tickets. Now, my board of directors said, Rabbi, we can't do that. I said, you have to have faith. You have to have faith that people will come to services and give like Moses suggested to give. Moses in the Torah, it said, the Torah reading Terumah, which means a generous contribution from the heart. Moses said to the Israelite people, I like to build a sanctuary. I want to build a tabernacle, and I'm going to ask everyone to give of themselves from their heart, Terumah, to give what your heart moves you. And he put that word out, and you know what happened? People started coming up and giving gifts to the sanctuary, to build a sanctuary. You know what happened? You're not going to believe this. They gave so generously that Moses said, stop! We don't need any more. Can you imagine the Jewish Federation saying, stop, we don't need any more? But you know, it was because of Moses' conviction. He prayed with a real conviction, and he was able to inspire people to give of themselves and to give Terumah. So I took those beautiful words and affirmation and said, we are going to do the same. We're going to open the doors to the sanctuary. I got the largest sanctuary I could find, 4,000 seats, Sunrise Musical Theater. And you know, 3,500 seats were filled. Out of the clear blue, we were just getting maybe a few hundred people coming to services, but because we said we're opening up our doors and our hearts like Moses, we would like you to make a voluntary contribution from your heart to give Terumah. And you know, dear friends, the people gave generously, and we've never had a ticket sale ever since then. I get a phone call once in a while, Rabbi, we'd like to get some tickets for the high holidays. And I say, I'm sorry, we don't have any tickets. Oh, you sold out. I said, no, we didn't sell out. We don't sell tickets to the high holidays. What? Is this a Jewish synagogue? I said, yes. We don't sell tickets. We'd like for you to give a voluntary contribution from your heart. And thank God it's worked out. Except this year, I lacked faith. Rabbi Barry Silver had a steadfast faith in God that people would come. And thank God, you look so beautiful and so handsome, your magnificent countenance, and it's such a blessing that you're here. And I ask you a simple question that I pray will inspire you. If someone says to you, what is your religion? What do you say? Jewish? If someone asks a person who goes to church, what is your religion? They say, I'm Christian. Right? I'm Baptist. I'm Presbyterian. They never say Baptist-ish. Why are we saying Jew-ish? Think about it. If someone says to be at an appointment at 5 o'clock, what does that mean? 5 o'clock. If someone says 5-ish, what does that mean? So why are we saying Jew-ish? Aren't we Jews? So my congregation says, Rabbi, I'm Jew. I'm a Jew. Or I'm Jew. But if for some reason we have this mental block that if someone says, you see that person over there, he's Jew. What does that sound like? But it's not. They're not saying it in that way. It's like saying, he's Christian. We don't mean it derogatory. If someone, he's Jew, for some reason we're taking it offensively. I am a Jew. I'm not Jewish. I'm Jew. And I pray, because of the inspiration of Rabbi Barry Silver, we will all know that we are Jew. And we are here for the sake of others. Above all, whose smile and well-being, our own happiness depends. God bless you. Hashanah Tova. Thank you, Rabbi Barry Silver, for maintaining a strong faith to allow us to be here tonight.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Frank. That was a quote by Einstein at the very end. I always appreciate your mentioning my main man, Einstein. Thank you very much. I just want to share with you that for most people, being a Jew is something to be proud of, but there are quite a few people in this world that if you say you're a Jew, you are in trouble. It was Daniel Pearl, who was a martyr by Muslim terrorists. And they captured him, and they wanted him to renounce his Judaism. And before he was savagely murdered, he said, I am a Jew, and my mother was a Jew, and my father was a Jew. I am a Jew. And he inspires us to do what Rabbi Frank is saying. If he could do it, we can live as a Jew also. If he was able to do it at that time, what is stopping us? And the word a Jew is also French. Anybody speak French? A Jew. A Jew. To be a Jew means to say adieu to irrational thinking. Adieu to selfishness. Adieu to just going through the motions instead of living life with emotions. And it means saying adieu to the cynical, horrible concept that there's nothing we can do to make a difference. And it's saying, yes, we're part of a people that not only can make a difference, that has made a difference. And I also just want to share the faith that Rabbi Frank is talking about. We've never done these services together, and it is an interesting experience. I'm thrilled to be with him because we've been friends for a very, very long time. And our views are not the same. But guess what? It doesn't matter. Because we as Jews need to join together, Kalal Yisrael, and be as one. So let me share with you, I don't have faith in a supernatural being. I don't believe there is a supernatural being. I believe that natural is super. But my faith, my friends, my faith is in the teachings of my Father, who taught me Jewish ideals as no one else could. My faith is in the teachings of the prophets who said that our people can be a light to the nations, that with peace and love and justice we can transform this world. And my faith is in this wonderful Yiddish cup that we've been given that overflows with justice and love and with peace. And so we continue now with Shalom Rav. Del Rey is conspiring with us in order to show movies of Jewish importance and social significance. And they allow us to come and share with them in a partnership, and then we come and share a dialogue and make it into an educational learning experience. They are going to be showing Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, a great Jewish artist, and afterwards we'll be sharing Cantor Garrett and I, a song that I wrote to the tune of Hallelujah, a spiritual explanation of creation. And we'll talk a little bit about the movie. At the Interfaith Dialogue, we atone for the sins of religion that has caused so much conflict by bringing religions together. And you're welcome to join in that also as a highlight of our celebration of the new year. This year we have special guests, including one Karen Brill of the school board, who will talk about the assault against education that she and others have had to deal with in our community. You're all welcome to share your point of view. All views are welcome. All Jews are welcome, and non-Jews as well. We continue now with we're going to be reading the Kaddish, and then we'll be concluding our service. Tonight we think of those who are no longer with us physically, but who are very much with us spiritually. We also think of those whose lives were mercilessly cut short because they were Jews, by misguided, religiously inspired anti-Semites. We will never forget them. Their cause is now our cause, their hopes and dreams are now ours, and in their memory we will challenge all anti-Semitism, even if, and especially if, it arises in someone else's sacred writ. On this new year of the soul, we give thanks for those who risked everything to preserve our precious heritage, and give honor to our parents, grandparents, and ancestors who shared these ideals with us. Please stand for the recitation of the Kaddish. Yis Gedal, Yis Kadash, Shemel Abba, V'yamad Yivrach L'sei V'yamnich Ma'chuseh, V'chayachon V'yomechon V'chayeh L'chol Beis Yisrael, V'agalad Izman Kariv Imru Amen. Yehi Shnei Rabba Mivorach L'olam Umei Omayah, Yisborach, Yiskabach, Yisbuar, Yischolam, Yisnaseh, V'yisadar, V'yisaleh, V'yisalal Shemer Kirishah V'rechut, Le'elah min po v'chasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechamasa, dam yevon v'yomah, v'yamru, Amen. Yehei shlom araba mishmaya v'chaim aleinu v'yoko Yisrael v'yamru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'yamromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yoko Yisrael v'yamru, Amen. May the source of peace and comfort send peace and comfort to all who mourn and to all who are bereaved. And let us be a source of peace and comfort for those who are going through difficulties in their lives. Let us say Amen, and we are seated. Avinu Malkeinu, tonight we give thanks for the gift of another year. In the days to come, we will turn outward and take care of the world around us. We will turn toward each other and foster peace with the human family. We will turn inward and seek wholeness within our souls. Avinu Malkeinu, let the new year be a good year for us. Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, renew in us a wonderful year by allowing us to make this year the best one ever. We now have the closing benediction. Yes, I have a special benediction I'm going to share with you. Rabbi Frank, did you want to share a benediction? I guess you'll get 2 benedictions. No, go right ahead.
You're first. You're first. You're first. How many of us are Kohens? How many of us gentlemen are Kohens? Kohanim. How many of us women are Bat Kohens, daughters of Kohens? How about wives of Kohens? Well, I was blessed to be a Kohen just through birth. So, from father to son, originating from Moses' brother Aaron. So the Kohanim prayer is this. Maybe I can put this on a microphone stand. Is that okay, Rabbi?
Wherever you like.
So the Kohanim raise their hands above everyone's heads in the form of the letter Shin for Shaddai, for God. This is the letter Shin that's on every mezuzah that grace the doorposts of our homes. So we have one Shin, another Shin, and my head and my arms represent third Shin. You see it? The big one? So we say, the Kohanim close their eyes and say, with the real conviction, Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep watch over you. Ya'er Adonai p'lavilecha v'yichoneka, may God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai p'lavilecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Amen. And may God watch over our blessed and holy congregation, all the peoples around the world, and grant us one affirmation that's above all of shalom, of peace. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Cain Yehi wrote some, and so it shall be. God bless you all. Shana Tova, to the best year ever. God bless you, Rabbi Silver. Grace you.
It's always a great thrill for me to be able to listen to the inspiring words of Rabbi Frank. Not many people can outdo Rabbi Frank, and I wouldn't try, but I do know someone who has something to say that I'd like to share with you as a final benediction. His name was Thomas Jefferson, the architect of the separation of church and state. And this is what he said. Fix reason firmly in her seat and call to her every tribunal, every fact, every opinion. Question with boldness even the existence of a God, because if there be one, he must approve of the homage of reason over that of blindfolded fear. Let us not be afraid to question everything. That is how we grow. And I also want a benediction for the people of Puerto Rico in the Spanish Heritage Month. We are thinking of you. A portion of our proceeds from the high holidays will be going to you in this very, very difficult time. A la gente de Puerto Rico, nuestros corazones están con ustedes y vamos a apoyarles y hacer todo en nuestro poder para ayudar. Bendiciones para usted y que el amor de Dios te brille sobre usted. That is our final benediction. You got 2 for the price of 1 today. Only here at Va-Dor, and you even got 3 different languages. We made it a little bit of a Trinitarian service. You got a little Spanish, Hebrew, and English. Now, if you're curious what happens next, we have the sounding of the shofar. At the new moon, at the full moon, for our feast day, sound the shofar. May the shofar call us to conscience and arouse us from our slumber. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol teruah, amo Yisrael v'rachamim. Blessed is the Jewish people when we hear the cry of the oppressed in Puerto Rico or in Ukraine or in Iran or wherever it is, or the women of the United States suffering from draconian laws. We hear the cry of the oppressed reflected in the blast of the shofar. Deliver them from their suffering. We're going to conclude the service with the singing of an oldie but a goodie. Join in with us, please. Ein Kelohim.
Ein Kelohim, Ein Kadoshenu, Ein Kemoshenu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Kelohenu, Mi Kadoshenu, Mi Kemoshenu, Mi Kemoshienu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Hakenu, Atahu Moshienu.
Shana Tova tikatemu v'techatemu. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. You had many different synagogues to choose from. You could have stayed home and gone online. You came here. We thank you. We appreciate it. You are part of our congregational family. We welcome you for all of our activities. And just like today, it's not pay to pray. You're welcome to join us for everything. And as Rabbi Frank says, all we ask is a little of your time, treasure, and talent. Share it with us. And we thank you for being with us. And we're going to close out with Carol singing, I believe, L'Shana Tova Tikatemu.
L'Shana Tova Tikatemu, L'Shana Tova Tikatemu, Tikatemu, L'Shana Tova Tikatemu, L'Shana Tova Tikatemu,
L'Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, may you be inscribed in the book of life.